Hi, my name is Linda Skolsby, and this is the story of my learning in ECS 110. Before taking ECS 110, I didn't realize how naive I was. I am not racist. I accept people for who they are. I don't judge people based on race. I view everyone equally, and Canadian citizens don't benefit from the treaties. Only Indigenous people do, were just some of the things I thought before I took this class. We discussed topics relating to gender, race, disability, what it means to be Canadian, and common rebuttals. What does it mean to be Canadian? My class came up with welcoming, respectful, free, equal, and accepting. But that's not always the case, because white supremacy remains deeply embedded within the ideological structures upholding the Canadian state, which means that Canada has a history with white supremacy, and that is a hard thing to undo. Racism. In the United States and Canada, racism refers to white racial and cultural prejudice and discrimination supported by institutional power and authority used to the advantage of whites and the disadvantage of peoples of color. Racism encompasses economic, political, social, and institutional actions and beliefs that perpetuate an unequal distribution of privileges, resources, and power between white people and peoples of color. I was shocked when Katia brought up the point that racism was institutionalized. While individual whites may be against racism, they still benefit from the distribution of resources controlled by their group. This means that everyone in the dominant group is racist, which I could not wrap my mind around because that meant I was racist. Gender. Gender binary is a concept or belief that there are only two genders and that one's biological or birth gender will align with traditional social constructs of masculine and feminine identity, expression, and sexuality. Gender binary is an important concept to break because people can identify outside of male and female. There are many different ways to identify, and people should not be forced into fitting the binary. If you're not heteronormative, you're forced to explain yourself, while cisgender and heterosexual people don't have to. This quote demonstrates how the world views differences amongst people. Disability. Disability simulations. They're a way for non-disabled people to feel as if they have a better understanding of a person with a disability. But to understand that it is impossible for a non-disabled person to truly experience disability, and that it is impossible likewise for a disabled person to truly experience not being disabled. That sums up what a disability simulation is, because an able-bodied person pretending to have a disability for an hour won't give them the true insight as to what it's like to have a disability. Common rebuttals. The rebuttals mentioned in Is Everyone Really Equal are rebuttals that function to block out, cut off, and negate explanations. They are counter to the goals of education, be it critical social justice, or any other kind. While reading over my blog posts, I realized that I use the majority of rebuttals mentioned in the book. It was surprising to see this because I never realized how easy it was to use the common rebuttals instead of acknowledging the truth, and I didn't realize that I used all these to make myself feel better about who I really am. And my references. Bum bum bum. And that is the story of my learning in ECS 110.